Welcome to Woodstock City Council. It is Thursday, November the 15th, 2018, and we have quite a few delegations, so we'll get started right away. Any disclosure of conflict of interest? Seeing none. Disclosure of new business? Matters arising from the minutes? The minutes of the November 1st meeting. Councillor Shapton.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Petter that the minutes of the regular meeting of Woodstock City Council held on November 1st, 2018 be adopted.
Thank you. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries. Unanimous. And our first delegation today is the Woodstock Wolverines minor football. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Worship. Before we get started, I'll just ask the guys to join me here and bring the Ontario Football League Championship with them. Come around the side, guys, here.
Seriously.
Okay, I think we got them all here. Come on in, squeeze in, guys. We're gonna bring that trophy in this way, fellas. Clark, I won't bite, Barnum. You come this way, my friend. Slots, cover down. Okay. We're really thankful for the opportunity, we're thankful for the opportunity to come here. First of all, we want to thank council, the mayor, all those who served the past 4 years and those that are continuing to serve and make a difference in our community. One of the things that we really believe is that's what we want to do, is make a difference. And I'm going to split this up into two parts. The first part is going to recognize a great group of leaders, difference makers in Woodstock that represent our community right across all the biggest cities in our province of Ontario. They worked very hard. They learned to overcome adversity. They didn't allow their lack of population or number that they chose from to affect anything. With discipline, respect, and hard work, they did something bigger than a David versus Goliath, and they came home with the Ontario Football League Championship for all of Ontario. And I just want to recognize them. Give them a hand. Whenever you have a chance to stand in front of council, it's obviously we want to address something. Currently, we don't have a home. We don't have a home. Every center we play, Toronto, Mississauga, Burlington, Clarington, London, Windsor, Cambridge, every center we play has a home. We've practiced for playoffs and championships with truck lights on baseball diamonds. We've made it work. We didn't have an excuse. We've not come in front of council. We haven't asked for anything. Today we do. I want to give champions a home, and that's what I think they deserve. When we look at these guys, this is the future of Oxford County. These are the future leaders. These are ones that may even have the opportunity to serve Oxford County much like yourselves. The biggest thing is to look at where we came from. We've been at this for over 15 years. And to come to this far, to this point, and not have a home is almost unheard of. When I walk off of fields from all the centers, the biggest thing I hear is, I have such respect for Woodstock. These boys, these men, along with their teammates, have done some great things. I'm going to touch on a couple of them. This past year, we had 6 players off of the Woodstock Wolverines compete for Ontario. They played a team from Ohio All-Stars and won a barn burner of a game, 26-25. I was happy. But 6 players from Woodstock representing Ontario. We have universities and prep schools come to our practices. They like what they see out of kids all the way from 7 years old to 17. This is a big chunk of the population. It requires a tremendous commitment. They're out with us 4 nights a week. It's not possible without the likes of great board members, parents that support, and others that give their time and effort to make a difference. What we have is a need for our own home base. It's needed. At Cowan Park, we've used it extensively. We've worked well with Brian and Emma to investigate some of the opportunities there and to have a chance where we have, going forward, the requirements to continue to defend what we work so hard for, a need for our own premier field. We need a practice field and we need a premier field. It's not optional for the leagues that we play in. And with that kind of success and going forward, it's the thing that makes the difference for us. One of the most important things that we look at is we don't look at the scoreboard. It's something we train. The biggest lessons that these men learned and these young guys learned was the ability to overcome adversity, to do it with discipline and respect, and to understand that we is bigger than me. That's something you can't do and get to this point without fully buying into. We're asking council to investigate, to go further, to serve our community, to look at these young men and say they deserve a home. And for a home, it just means a place that we have an opportunity to do positive things. And our positive things require a lot of work. At Cowan Park, there's a great opportunity. We are in there quite a bit. We are one of the biggest users. We've never sat in front of council and asked for anything. But to investigate this and to ask council, here's where the difference comes. If we don't have a home, we can't continue to serve. We have come a long way where we have hundreds of kids walk in and out of the doors at Cowan Park or any facility that we could find to practice on. So when it comes to providing a further platform as we continue to grow, it's impossible to do so without our home. So the biggest question that we have for council is, will you invest in the youth? Will you take the opportunity that every other program has and give these guys a home? Give all our players a home. We'd love to see other programs succeed, but this is a huge commitment. It's not just participation. We love participation, but this is something that's really big. When you come back with these kinds of accomplishments, it means you're going to carry those lessons in life. One of the biggest compliments we had was we had a young man who is able to pay for school through his ability to play football. He couldn't have done it before. He said to us, when I had no dad, he lost his dad, Joe Brown, John Hooper, Jeff Almeida, you were my dad. That's the biggest accomplishment as a coach. As a player, we need to understand that we're welcomed, that we're here. We're so thankful for the people that come alongside and cheer us on. But in order to continue, we have to have that. So when we leave this, the only question that we have to answer is, will council please, for 2019, give us the opportunity to continue what these guys have started and want to defend? We really appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you kindly.
Thank you. Questions of council? Councillor Accioni.
Thank you, Your Worship. To Coach Camboya, congratulations.
Thank you.
To all the boys, congratulations. Well done. Well done. Been following along, and amazing to see where it started from, of course, and to today. It's really just amazing. I'm curious about the numbers you have that come out to play. It's no secret, high school football is nowhere near as popular anymore. I've often wondered, how many kids do come out, try out? Is there big cuts? What kind of attendance do you usually have at the start of the season?
We do things a little different. We actually don't cut people. We can't make a difference if they're not on the field with us. So we don't. Right now we have programs, flag football, tackle football, training, competitive league, travel league, and house league that we run. They run from ages 7 to 17 currently, and we continue to grow. As to your point regarding high school football, we continue to see a trend in Ontario where athletes are playing a lot of club sports because the availability of parents and coaches that are there at the times that we can go. The resource we need is the field. But for numbers, we're having hundreds go through our door Monday, Wednesday, Friday meetings, Saturdays on the road. It's hundreds. And every year we continue to see growth. We've added leagues and teams. The last 2 years we've been able to compete in both the Ontario Provincial Football League and the Ontario Football League. We've outgrown the boundaries of Woodstock.
If I can continue?
Okay,
Sorry.
go ahead.
And that's really to the merit of the system, and it's no secret I'm a huge supporter of football. So, again, just a huge thank you, and keep it going, guys. I mean it. Keep it going. Keep it going, guys. Okay? Means a lot. Thank you.
Councillor Petter.
Through the mayor to Chris. Chris, first of all, congratulations to your team and yourself. I followed you in your high school career. I followed you with the Griffins. I even kept my eye on you all the way through university. And you're obviously as good a coach as you were a player, seeing as you got this team where they are now. Really don't have anything to comment. Jerry said most of it for me, but I do want to make one address to council. This is my last meeting. I wish you had been here 2 years ago so that I could have kind of followed this up. I urge council to please listen to Chris, see what you can do. There's 3 football fields in town that are all school board. There's none that there is for the city of Woodstock, and whatever we can do for these guys, we really need to do it. So keep that in mind, guys, after I'm dead and gone.
Thank you. Councillor Talbot.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through to Chris. Well done, guys. It's great to see you out and to see how well you've done. Congratulations. But Chris, just wondering, and as Councillor Petter had just mentioned, the high school football fields are empty. Are you able to use them for practice? Or is it the insurance? Like, is there just no agreement?
All of the above. A couple of those things that I can address. Number one, we've tried that. That method doesn't work. They're still being used at a decent level, but not to the extent that we do. This is one team. We have a number of teams. So they're usually 2 age cohorts, all the way from 7 up to 17. It has not worked at all. And the requirements for especially some of our elite level athletes, when you're competing across the province, there's requirements for fields. Most fields are artificial turf. And if it's not artificial turf, it better be really, really good natural grass. And that's nowhere near the case. It's not well maintained. It doesn't work. We've tried it for 15 years. And it just isn't a viable option after this much time. That's why it's so important to, we're really hoping to have a home base out near Cowan where all the other programs have a home. We just want ours. It's not a big expense.
Thank you. Councillor Tate.
Just kind of a comment too, and for the rest of council, I completely agree with Councillor Petter. Both my kids played in the league right from the start. Joe was there, both of you right from the beginning, and I think they used cast way back, but there's so many kids that just, they had like, you'd have 6 games going on in this little tiny field. It was crazy. It's a fantastic program. Got both my kids really interested in football, not just football, but the fitness part. And so I have 2 crazy football kids that turned their mother into a crazy football mother. And I have to tell you, for what you have accomplished is phenomenal, because the football in the States is insane. So to be able to compete, so I fully support what we can do for you guys. You've done incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you. Further questions of council? Seeing none, thank you very much.
We thank you for your time, guys. Thank you.
And our next delegation is Ron Farrell regarding zoning amendment. Welcome.
Mayor Birch and councilors, it's come to our attention that the applicant for this zoning change are coming forward with a deferral, and we are still in favor of the R2 over the R3, but because of this, we respectfully would like to request that we can withhold our comments until it comes before council again.
Thank you. Questions of council? No. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And our next delegation is YMCA with the Strong Kids campaign. We have the YMCA here tonight. Okay. Snow might have kept them away, so our next delegation is Sheila Sutherland, and if council wishes to hear the delegation, we'd need a resolution. Councillor Shapton?
Yes, moved by myself that Sheila Sutherland be permitted to appear as a late delegation.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Accioni. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carries unanimous. Mrs. Sutherland? Hey, Rick.
We just signed a paper today to say that we want to defer for tonight.
You want to come up and say that up here?
Yes, about the zone change.
Yes.
We just thought we would defer to the next meeting if
Okay.
possible.
Thank you very much. And resolutions. So a resolution for the Woodstock Wolverines. Councillor Accioni?
Move that Woodstock City Council receive a presentation from Woodstock Minor Football and ask for a report from staff.
Thank you. And a seconder, Councillor Petter. Discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda is the zone change. And so we'll go with the deferral motion. Councillor Tate?
Move that Woodstock City Council defer application for zone change ZN 8-17-18 and request that the applicants give consideration to a development proposal with fewer units.
Thank you. And the seconder, Councillor Accioni. Discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries unanimous. And our next item is the housekeeping amendments. Councillor Talbot?
I'll move that Woodstock City Council approve the proposed zoning bylaw amendment file ZN 8-18-12 to introduce housekeeping amendments to definitions, Section 2, General Provisions, Section 5, Residential Zone 3, R3, Highway Commercial Zone C4, Central Commercial Zone C5, and a specific key maps affected by certain changes. And further, that no comments were received from the public regarding this application.
Thank you. And a seconder, Councillor Lauder. Ms. Hashler, welcome.
Thank you. This is an application for a housekeeping amendment to the zoning bylaw. As council probably is aware, the existing zoning bylaw was approved in 2010, and there have been housekeeping amendments done every year or two since then. Our last amendment was in 2015, and so today we were asking that council approve a number of amendments that will improve the usability, consistency, and effectiveness of the bylaw. So the different types of amendments we are requesting is amendments to text and zone duplications. These amendments pertain to zone duplications that required minor changes to both text and key maps. And then we're also asking for amendments to the key maps. There is a key map that's just missing the zoning labels, and then there's another key map that we would like to rezone the park to the correct zoning. We also are asking for text edits to the definitions and general provisions sections and additional sections where we just feel that it would provide more clarity if the edits were made. We also are requesting changes that would be in light of council's decisions in the past couple of years, just to be consistent with those. And then finally, we're requesting amendments to the C5 zone to permit the maximum lot coverage for a multiple use apartment dwelling house to from 60% to 100%, and for an apartment dwelling house from 50% to 100%. And the reason why we're proposing that is because I think in the 2015 amendment, we requested that council reduce the interior side yard, exterior side yard, rear yard, and front yard to a 0 setback, because we're finding that a lot of the buildings in the downtown are filling up the entire sites, the historical buildings included. Additionally, we are also asking that the visitor parking be reduced to nil for downtown buildings as well.
Thank you. Questions of council? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries unanimous. Thank you. And next item on the agenda is correspondence regarding the 3-hour parking for the Christmas season downtown. Councillor Lauder.
I'll move that Woodstock City Council authorize the increase of free parking downtown from 2 hours to 3 hours for the month of December 2018.
Thank you. And seconder, Councillor Talbot. Discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries. Unanimous. Next item is the statement of revenue and expenditures and the statement of capital expenditures for the period ending October 31st. Councillor Petter.
I move the Woodstock City Council receive the statement of revenue and expenditure and the statement of capital expenditures for the period ending October 31st, 2018 as information.
And seconded by Councillor Accioni. Discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries. Unanimous. Next item is the crack sealing program. Councillor Shapton.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself that Woodstock City Council receive the crack sealing program report as information.
Thank you. And the seconder, Councillor Lauder. Discussion? Councillor Petter.
Yeah, through the mayor, I was just wondering if Mr. DeHaan could give a little overview on what he found out during the investigation, because I still think there's a problem with this.
Your Worship, through the councillor, as I said in my report, crack sealing is a regular yearly program that most municipalities do as the pavement gets older and becomes less flexible. The cracks are filled with a rubberized asphalt to help prevent water from getting underneath the pavement. There are provincial standards that are done for the type of material that's used, how it's placed into the crack, as well as how wide the band has to be, as well as how much it can sit flush of the pavement. We went out and checked, and then the county also had an inspector on site while the operation was happening also, and we found that the workmanship during the contract met the provincial spec.
Councillor Petter.
Just to follow up, I have no doubt that we're doing everything to spec. I think my problem is that maybe the provincial standards are wrong, and I was kind of hoping that the delegation that was here a couple of months ago would be here, because I think they need to push the issue. There's no doubt when I go out and look at, you won't find it now because it's too cold, but when it's hot out and the sun hits that tar, it's gooey. You can push your fingers down in it. And if you were, and I'm not a motorcycle rider, but if I was, and a tire got in that track the same way that when you're driving on construction and they got those little grooves and the tire won't come out, I think there's something wrong with it. And I hope they continue on with pursuing a better resolution, whether it be narrower tracks or a different pattern. I don't know what the answer is, but I hope they carry on. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Lauder.
Yes, through the mayor to Mr. DeHaan, has that width changed? Because it does seem a lot wider than it used to be when I look at the old ones.
Your Worship, through the councillor, the width itself, if you look, the newer asphalt strips that are put down, the black is about 6 inches wide, but the actual asphalt, the rubberized portion is actually 2 inches. The wider part is just bleed out of the color, and that will actually fade after a while. If you look at older cracks, you don't see that. So it's the rubberized strip that will stay, and that's, like I said, about 2 inches wide. And to the best of my knowledge, the standard's been what it is for a number of years.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries. And next item on the agenda is the overnight parking for municipal lots. Councillor Accioni.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself, the Woodstock City Council approves changes to Schedule N of the traffic bylaw to include as posted for the Church of the Epiphany, Hunter and Graham Streets, Riddell Street, and Young Street lots. And further, that Woodstock City Council approves the change to Section 12C of the traffic bylaw to read notwithstanding any other provisions of this bylaw, whenever a sign or signs are displayed on a municipal parking lot indicating the areas where parking will be allowed on alternate nights during the months of December to March inclusive, parking will be permitted in those areas so designated during the hours of 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Excuse me. And further, that Woodstock City Council approves changes to Schedule R and R1 of the traffic bylaw to include Lot 1 and 2 on the east side of Young Street according to Registered Plan Number 19. In the description of the Young Street lot in order to allow 2-hour free parking and permit parking on the Young Street lot. And further, that Woodstock City Council approves the changes to Schedule 2 of Municipal Code 499 to add 2 accessible parking spaces at the Yonge Street Municipal Lot. And further, that City Council instructs staff to prepare the necessary bylaw for council approval and to install the necessary signage.
Thank you. And the seconder, Councillor Lauder. Discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries. Unanimous. Next item on the agenda is amendments to the traffic bylaw. Councillor Shapton?
Yes, moved by myself, the Woodstock City Council refer the amendments to traffic bylaw report to the bylaw section of the meeting.
Thank you. And a seconder, Councillor Petter. Discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries. Unanimous. Next item is the school zone on Cromwell Street. Councillor Lauder?
Try this. I'll move that Woodstock City Council direct staff to take the necessary steps to implement a parking exemption program to allow contractors to park in school zones during specified times.
Thank you. And a seconder? Seeing no seconder, another motion? Councillor Petter?
Move the Woodstock City Council receive the school zone on Cromwell Street report as information.
Thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Shapton. Discussion? Councillor Talbot?
Your worship, I was wondering if Mr. DeHaan could just maybe comment on it, if we've received any other comments. The program's only been in place for not quite 3 months now, and I just wondered how it was going. Like, are we getting a lot?
Your worship, through the councillor, yes, you're correct. The program, excuse me, went into play just before Labor Day, before school started. We have had, initially there were some complaints from the parents dropping off their kids, and it was more a complaint of the no stopping requirement right in front of the school. That was the issue. I think since then, right at the beginning, we had one other complaint. One of my staff members told me about it today, about no parking, but that's been it since it started.
And I think that's when a new program starts, I mean, there's always some feedback or a lot of feedback, and I'm just wondering if we can monitor it through the complaint process and see how it goes, and if it becomes an issue to be brought back forward to us again. I mean, I understand the people in Cromwell, what's happening there, but I'm sure it's happening everywhere, but people are adjusting. So maybe we just need to see what's how it's going to roll out, because I mean, we are doing it for the safety of the kids.
One thing that's a little different with the school that we're talking about near Cromwell is it's one of the only schools where all students are bused in. Other schools have students walking to school. This one has very few walkers because it takes students from Tempsford and Tavistock and Tilsonburg and Ingersoll and buses them into Woodstock. So this one's a little different than others. So if council did want to make a change just on this one school zone, I don't think it would impact the others. But
maybe we can just continue to monitor it, because I mean, I noticed I was coming down Parkinson today and St. Patrick's, how they have where the parents have to come in. The street was all backed up because everybody's trying to turn left into the school going west on Parkinson. And I mean, but they go right through the school property and come out. So I mean, there's lots of congestion in school areas because I think almost all kids are driven or bused to school these days.
Councillor Accioni.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have had 10 to 12, I'm going to say, people reach out to me in the last couple of weeks since this has kind of come out. Been discussed a fair bit. A lot from the Cromwell Street, I will admit, but not just there. And sorry, this is through Your Worship to Harold. If we can keep, I'll go with this motion simply to keep an eye on it because it's fairly new and everything else. But if we can get some kind of staff report, but can we speak to the schools? Is there a way to communicate with each of the schools, see what they're thinking? I get people want to drop their kids off, especially with weather like this, but when they're a block away or 2 blocks away, it's tough and it's causing a lot of chaos. And I've certainly heard everybody's messages and conversations about this, but I don't know what to do. I wish I did. But is there a way to speak to the schools, I guess, would be, and get their thoughts on areas that maybe can be used, or before we make any other changes and just cause more chaos? Thank you.
Your Worship, through the counselor, the instigation from this whole program actually started with the public health and the schools. So we've been meeting with them regularly.
And if I can continue, then what are they saying? Like now, what are they saying it's working or not working? Are they concerned?
Your Worship, through the counselor, to the best from the deputy engineer goes to those meetings. From what I gather, they seem to be fairly satisfied. There was a lot of concern from the schools at the beginning about how this was going to work. However, since it started, we haven't heard any complaints from them.
Would it be possible for myself to sit in a meeting sometime with them to ask some questions and concerns that had been brought to my attention?
Your Worship, through the counselor, I think it's open to anybody, the meetings. I can relay that information on to the public health usually runs the meetings, and I can relay the information that you'd like to attend.
Okay, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Councillor Lauder.
I will go along with the motion, but the reason I had brought up the one about the contractors in this particular case, and there could be others, but if they have someone there to cut the lawn, which they do, and there is no room in their drive, if they have bigger equipment, their trailers and that, to get into the drive. So that was the reason that I had brought this, and I'm sure that there could be other people around that might have that. So keeping a watch on it, or for concerns, would be good. But that was the reason I had put that motion forward.
Councillor Talbot.
Thank you. Just back to your worship, and I guess to Harold as well too. And I understand that, but with it being a school that only has school buses that drop kids off, I mean, I guess the reason why I was just going to go to receive the report was specifically because I think you don't want it to cause confusion with all the other schools. Like you've made a decision for the city. It's good to keep it all the same. But if there's no cars being dropped off in this particular area, yes, I know I understand what they require there and everything, but I'm just wondering, how does that reflect on the rest of the programs throughout the city? And it's kind of like, do you do it just for one, or do you do it for all of them? And I mean, because there needs to be consistency, and that's where the problem. I'm just trying to think of another resolution that would work.
I think in the respect of continuing to monitor, if you were thinking something needed to be done on this, perhaps the motion would be to make the change for 10 to 2 on this particular one and continue to monitor everything before we would go with the other choice of having alternating times in all areas as an option. Councillor Petter.
Through the mayor, I made the motion to receive his information basically because this whole program was done for the safety of the kids, bar none. That's what it was done for. I'm not about to, this is my last meeting, by the way, in case anybody didn't know. I'm not about to make an exception for that, for this one school, and have something happen. I don't know why this council would even entertain that. It's too early in the program. I mean, if in fact, for some strange reason, this one school property needs some exemption, maybe you'll look at it in another 3 months and there's more reason for it. But I can't see making an exception for this one school zone and risk something happening.
Councillor Shepton.
Thank you, Your Worship. And just further on to what Councillor Petter said, I think more than anything, and in the report it was very clear, a very well-written report, Mr. DeHaan, which clearly indicated once you make a change for one, I think you're going to expect every other neighborhood. In the beginning, I think we all received calls, or at least I know some of us received calls. I haven't had one since that time. And I think that just getting used to the program, I understand specifics, but I think the second that you open up that door, it's going to be a floodgate. And we've already invested a significant amount of time and money. And you look at the cost just to change some signage, which is about $30,000 if we make any changes. So that's why I'm supporting the receive as information at this point.
Further discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries. Next item on the agenda is the annual betting order. Councillor Talbot.
I'll move that Woodstock City Council gives notice of a commitment of $33,528.15 plus HST in the 2019 budget for the supply of betting plants.
Thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Shapton. Discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries. Unanimous. Next item is the Community Improvement Plan for 66 Brock Street. Councillor Tate.
I'll move that Woodstock City Council approve the Community Improvement Plan application for 66 Brock Street, and further that mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the necessary agreements.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Accioni. Discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries. Unanimous. Next item on the agenda is the Community Improvement Plan for 482 to 490 McQueen Street. Councillor Shapton.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself that Woodstock City Council approve the Community Improvement Plan application for 482 to 490 McQueen Street, and further that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the necessary agreements.
Thank you. And the seconder, Councillor Petter. Discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries. Unanimous. Next item on the agenda is the proposed sale of 2 acres of industrial land on Woodall Way. Councillor Talbot.
The Woodstock City Council authorize the mayor and clerk to sign an agreement of purchase and sale with Ambi Traders, Inc., and that the necessary bylaw be read. And further, that Woodstock City Council authorize Ambi Trades, Inc. to act as the city's agent for the purpose of a zone change application.
Thank you. And the seconder, Councillor Lauder. Discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries. Unanimous. Next item is the schedule for council dates for July, August, and December of 2019. Councillor Lauder.
I'll move that Woodstock City Council meeting dates for the months of July, August, and December 2019 and January 2020 be established as Thursday, July the 11th, 2019, Thursday, August the 15th, 2019, Thursday, December the 12th, 2019, and Thursday, January the 16th, 2020.
Thank you. And the seconder, Councillor Accioni. Discussion? Seeing none, you've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries. Unanimous. Next item is the confirming bylaw. Councillor Accioni.
Moved by myself, the Woodstock City Council refer the confirming bylaw to the bylaw section of the meeting.
Thank you. And the seconder, Councillor Lauder. Discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Carries. And bylaws. Councillor Shapton.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Petter. The following bylaws be given first and second reading. 9253-18, a bylaw to amend traffic bylaw 8021-04 as amended. 9254-18A, a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 8626-10 as amended. ZN 8-18-12 housekeeping. 9255-18, a bylaw to provide for the sale of certain lands owned by the Corporation of the City of Woodstock to Ambi Traders, Inc. 9256-18, a bylaw to adopt and confirm all actions and proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the City of Woodstock during the period December 15, 2018 to November 15, 2018.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries. Unanimous. Councillor Shapton.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Petter, that the following bylaws be given third and final reading. 9253-18 to 9256-18 inclusive.
Thank you. You've heard the motion. All those in favor? Carries. Unanimous. And tonight we'll start with Councillor Talbot.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm sure everybody is enjoying the lovely winter weather that we're having tonight. I think in the course of driving home there was 10 accidents. The highway was closed, and it's a real mess out there. So I know it's a little bit new to be driving with the snow, but please take your time and be cautious. It was very slippery out there tonight. But it will be nice for Santa Claus's arrival on Saturday evening at the parade. I hope that everybody takes the opportunity to come out and enjoy it. I'm sure it's going to be great. I've seen the lineup, and it's looking very good at this point. I want to say goodbye to two of my desk mates, as this is their last council meeting, and I want to thank them for the last 4 years of their hard work and commitment to the community. It's been a pleasure to work beside the two of you. I know you're not going very far away, but you won't be sitting at the table anymore. But Woodstock's very fortunate to have had your representation for the last 4 years, and thanks for being so good to work with.
Thank you. Councillor Shapton.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is my final meeting, and as many know, I've always had a lot to say, so it won't be any different tonight. But it's been a great honor and privilege to represent our community the past 4 years. From day one, my goal was to represent this community in their best interest. It's a role I took pretty seriously, as many know, and one that I will cherish. And I want to be very clear, I wish all of council, the new members, although Mr. Fraser is just coming back, but Mark Schadenberg, who is here again this evening, I wish him the best of luck. I know he'll do phenomenally well. He's been in the community for a very long time. I was very fortunate to be appointed to the Police Service Board and work with some incredible people there. Truly to our frontline staff, our senior officers, Chief Renton, Deputy Sweezy, and Inspector Hess, and of course I'd be remiss not to mention Marilyn Pearson, who really is the epicenter of that group, to keep them in line, to make sure that they all look good, including the board. So a huge thank you to them. But to our fire department, to all of the frontline staff and all departments, just an incredible group. We are so fortunate in the city, whether you work in engineering or works or parks, the staff that we have really go out of their way each and every day. For the most part, we aren't perfect, but it would be too easy if we were. So they, again, to all of our front staff, and even to our bus drivers, to everyone who plays a role in the day-to-day to making this community so fantastic. I applaud all of you. To the management, who has been fun to sit around this table with, you're just you're fantastic, and I've had a pretty good time. Although Harold and I have had some really fun moments, I will genuinely miss those. But I think everyone here continues to look at their job and look at our community and wonder how we can make it better. To David Creary, who got to know me really well, whether he wanted to or not, and who I spent a few number of hours asking question after question. I thank you, and you're in your role for a reason. It's been a pleasure, and I think you do a great job. Let's see. Amy Humphreys, our clerk, who has, again, endured many hours of Shapton conversations, and as many have, because I always have a lot to know, and I wish you the best of luck in your future. I think it's pretty clear the direction you're going, and I look forward to following that. So I'm not going very far, so I'll still come in and see you. I just have to make an appointment now, I'm told. But to my family, who obviously, when you come in this role, you miss a few things here and there, but their support has been incredible. And to my fellow councillors, what a fun moment. I told Todd I wouldn't cry because I cried in the first damn meeting, so I'm not going to cry in my last meeting. And finally I said damn on TV. But it's just been awesome. I never thought that I would come out of this role with such close friendships and bonds. And, I remember back to one of the first motions that I made, and which was a dramatic three-way stop at Meadowbrook and Lakeview. And I think, how much we've learned since then, and the goal to ensure that the city is better off in a better place than when I came on here, and I truly believe that it is. But there's a quote that I've actually sent to the mayor a few times, and of course, irregardless of our differences, Mayor Birch, I wish you the best of luck in running this community. But this is from former Ontario Attorney General, the Honourable Ian Scott, who once said, "We do not and never will accept the proposition that the business of the public is none of the public's business." And with that, I thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Petter.
Okay, how the hell am I going to follow that? I'm going to try. Just sit back and relax. This is my last shot on TV, so I'm just going to milk it for all it's worth. Thanks, Deb. I just want to really thank, Sean's done most of it, but Harold, Len, Brian, Amy, I'm saving for the end. The mayor, David, Patrice, Andrea. I don't want to leave out Ron Verstegen and Chris Gauthier, who was here for the majority of the time, Chris especially. All the committees that I was on, all the people I worked with, it was fantastic. I think council as a whole had a great 4 years. I'm a little biased on that, but I think we did. We didn't have too many arguments. If we did, we certainly got over it at the Dickens. I do want to say, most people don't know that my mother died when I was 6, so I never really had a mother image. But in this city, I had 2 mothers starting 4 years ago, Ann Ash and Amy Humphreys. Ann Ash totally looked after everything that I was to go to, what I was to wear, why I was going. She would prep me. She would make sure that I remembered to get there. Amy's a little different. You know, when you're a kid and you've got your elbows on the dining room table and your mother gives you that look, this is what I would get from right here. If I started to get out of line, I'd look up and be like, what is he going to say? But I always appreciated her keeping me in line. She knows her job so well, and the best advice always from Amy. David, you were fantastic leading. You got to remember, there was 4 rookies when we came on, 4 male rookies and 3 experienced, I didn't say old, Sandy, I said experienced women. So it was quite a job to get us under control, I'm sure. I also want to thank my family. They put up with me missing a lot of stuff. In the back of the room, I have 3 generations of Petter women. My wife, my daughter, and my granddaughter. I appreciate them coming tonight. And they're really hating that I even brought them up. But if the camera could pan over there, that would be great. I'm going to pay for that. What else did I have to say? I know I had something else to say, but I forget what it is. Now, I should do a hockey show. The Raptors lost last night to Detroit, Jerry. All right. Jerry always likes when I give sports reports. That's about it. Probably the most satisfaction I've gotten out of this job is that people continuously ask me, because you got to remember, Councillor Shapton was prepared. He's been thinking about politics his whole life. He knew how the city worked. I knew nothing. 0 committees that I was on. I didn't have any idea. I'm sure there was booze involved when I put my nomination papers in. And when people saw that I was running, it was like, what is he doing? Yet, somehow I got in, because I think people just want somebody that represents them. And since then, so many people have come to me that have thought about running for council, and they've asked me, like, what in the world? Like, what made you go over the hump? And I said, I don't know. I said, I just decided to do it. And I hope more people run for council, because there are a lot of people out there, but there's a fear factor, and I just want them to know that there's no fear. The people that run this city know exactly what they're doing. They'll bend over backwards to help you. So if you feel like you want to run for city council and get involved, get involved. And with that, me and my ducks, the camera can't see my ducks, but I have all kinds of ducks here. My ducks are all in a row. Well, wait, now my ducks are in a row. All right, that's it. I'm done. Bye.
Thank you. Councillor Lauder.
Thank you. And I just wanted to thank both Councillor Petter and Councillor Shapton for their service to the community and for the past 4 years. I am sure both of you will be missed, and I will miss both of you. So the times we have shared, also at the Dickens, and so thanks for your 4 years of service. And I would like to let everyone know that the Fanshawe Choir concert is the December 1st. There's a children's concert in the afternoon and the adult concert in the evening. And the Oxford Winds concert is at Knox Presbyterian Church, and I'm actually in both of them. So That's why I'm letting you know. And the Christmas Bazaar at Southgate is on Saturday from 9 to 12. And I'm also going to be selling tickets there for the 12 days of Christmas. And at the museum lighting tomorrow night, make sure you come out for hot chocolate and cookies, because I'll see you at the Santa Claus house. And the parade on Saturday, and I think Councillor Shapton and I are going to be judging. So I think that's all for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Accioni.
Thank you. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Councillor Petter, it's been a lot of fun. I got to admit, many times we've sat, you've kind of said exactly what you were thinking. I'm not going to say the exact words, of course, but it's always been, you know what, a realist. And I've always respected you, and thank you very much for that. You kind of put things in perspective. Councillor Shapton and I, we've debated on so many different things back and forth, and you've always got great thoughts, opinions, and we'll always respect you for that because you're always willing to give them to me. So I will miss you both. Let me be clear. It's going to be different, no doubt. No disrespect to the new councillors coming in, of course, but I'm sure it's going to be different, and you will be missed. Let me tell you. Okay, so thanks, guys. It's been a good 4 years. I'll definitely echo that with you. It really hasn't been enjoyable. As for some other events that haven't been talked about, of course, the parade starts at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. I don't think anybody's mentioned a time yet, just to be clear. Or Saturday night, I'm sorry. Tomorrow night, lighting of the lights at 6:30. And then Saturday night, 6 o'clock. I'm going to apologize. It's the first parade I'm going to miss in 20 years. So I am out of town, but enjoy. CP holiday train is coming Thursday, November 29th. Train arrives around 6:30, 6:40, but make sure you're going to be there early if you want to get close at all. Christmas decoration exchange, Thursday, November 22nd and Friday, November 23rd, 5 to 8 at Goff Hall. I guess that's it. Please make sure you have a copy of your What's on Woodstock, of course, and everything's there as usual. See you at the next meeting. Thanks. Oh, and drive safe.
Thank you. Councillor Tate.
Yes, I also want to thank both the councillors that are leaving. This is the first term that I think Sandy and I can probably agree we haven't had any drama, and it's been lovely. Even if we don't agree with Councillor Petter's humor, we've been able to get through everything, so I appreciate it. And I think Councillor Petter touched on it. It's really difficult to put your name forward. Obviously, a lot of people don't do it, and it is a big deal. So thank to both of you, and thanks for all your commitment.
Well, thank you. And make sure for any of these events that are coming up in the community, you bring some canned goods and other non-perishable food items. People will be collecting both for the community free table as well as for the Salvation Army food hamper. And of course, the CP holiday train, bring extra canned goods for that. Maybe they'll sing an extra song. That's on the 29th, I think, the holiday train. Now, I'm going to take a day off on Monday, which entails young Julie Waterland taking the chains of office and getting to be in charge as junior mayor for the day. So I'm looking forward to a great holiday on Monday and let the next generation take over and lead our city for a day. I'm sure there'll be requests for new police cruisers and fire trucks and other things. And if engineering wants to get in any requests, maybe she can pre-approve some budget items. We have our inaugural meeting for the new term of council on December 6th. So please, it's a public meeting. It is open to the public. It's open to family and friends of all of those that are going to be on serving for the next 4 years. So hope to see many of you out on December 6th. A motion to adjourn. Councillor Petter, seconded by Councillor Shapton. All those in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you.